Homeschooling high schoolers means you are almost finished homeschooling. Unless there are younger kids, then it's just the start of a new and exciting chapter in your homeschool journey. But homeschooling high schoolers might feel like a giant leap from the elementary years. And you're also planning for after high school, college or not to college, and really preparing your students for the rest of their lives. No pressure, right? Hello, Rebel Moms, and welcome to the Life Unboxed podcast. I'm JODIE the mom, wife, homeschool mom of 6, and successful mom entrepreneur. And I am bringing you information and inspiration on raising kids, running a business, and keeping your sanity. You can find the episode show notes, Rebel Mom checklist to help you homeschool confidently, and tools to make your work from home life easier, as well as more information at lifeunboxed.blog. Now let's get into the show. So, this stage of parenting, high school, is really the hardest stage of parenting. Even if your teens are fabulous, and I think mine are, it is still a really challenging stage. I heard some great advice when it comes to parenting teens, and it is probably the best advice I've heard, and so I'm going to share it with you. And here is the advice. Okay, ready? Just hold on. And when the advice came from my husband, who heard it from someone else, and when he said this, I just felt this deep in my soul. It's like, okay, parents of teens, there's so much going on. Just hold on. So even though high schoolers are the hardest stage of parenting, because the stakes are high for growth, independence, and meaningful learning experiences. Dumb decisions, anyone? So, there are still some essential tips to help high schoolers gain confidence, clarity, and courage. Mom, you can do this. Is it easy? Nope, but it is doable. And this post is going to give you the essential tips to homeschool high schoolers. So the first thing you want to do is plan for homeschooling. So I am all about planning. If you've been listening to this show for any length of time, I think you've probably figured that one out. And for the most part, when the kids are left to their own devices, chaos ensues. So make a plan. It doesn't mean you will follow it to the letter, but think of it as more of a guide. You don't want to get to senior year and realize your student doesn't meet the requirements for his plans after high school. Homeschooling high schoolers is all about planning for what comes after high school. So if your student wants to attend college, join the military, or something else, they will have requirements for high school. Colleges and military do have expectations for high school students, so find out what they are before you start planning for your high schooler. So, my 3 teens all had a different response to high school. My oldest didn't know what he wanted to do. My second responded with a shrug. And my daughter has the next 10 years planned out. So, since my oldest 2 didn't know what direction to head in, I planned for them to get their associate's degree in high school. And this gives them really cheap tuition, and it puts them on the path with the most options. They can easily join the military, continue with college, or get a job after high school. My daughter is also working on her associate's degree because it fits within her 10-year plan. So however you plan, remember to be flexible with them. So now I'm going to give you my essential tips. So I have 7 of them for you. Number 1, how to create a high school plan. You want to plan homeschool high school with post-high school in mind. If your child has a certain college he wants to attend, then you will need to find out what that college requires for incoming students. So I have yet to find a state that has graduation requirements. So you get to set the standard for your high school graduation. You will get to determine the credit hours. Check out the previous podcast for the credit hours. And you have the freedom to determine what your high school looks like. And if you need help with the high school planning, then be sure to download my high school planning guide, because it comes with sample plans that you can customize to your own high school. And they're free. So the link that says show notes and resources, that's the one you want to click. Number 2, transcripts are important for high schoolers. And yes, it is important to create a transcript, because you never know when you'll need it, and it is better to have it just in case than to try and go back and remember 4 years of high school. Come on. You know, our memories are shot at this point, okay? Like, if you're homeschooling high schoolers, your memory is gone, okay? And just a hint, transcript templates are also included in the homeschooling planning guide. So go download it. You really need to. Here's the funny thing with transcripts. You actually might not need it, but if you do, you will wish that you had it. That's the thing. Like, depending on what your plans are, if you do dual enrollment, you may or may not need a high school transcript. But if you actually do need it, you'll be glad that you kept up with it through the high school years. Because it is much easier to update your high school transcript every year or every semester. That's usually what I do. Because my kids are doing college, so once they finish a class, I'll update their transcript with that class. It's just much easier to keep on top of it than to try and sit down and think through everything. Or you can use something like Homeschool Planet, as they have a transcript template built in to their resource. Typically, I will create a transcript template at the start of their high school, and then I just update it as we go along. It is very easy to do it this way, and by the end of their high school, they have a complete record. I have found, I am on my 3rd high school student, that this is the most painless way to do it. Number 3, get input from your high schooler. If you want to create independent thinkers, then you need to let them have input on their curriculum. We need to start shifting responsibility to our teens. This is the hardest stage of parenting, and they will make dumb mistakes. But we are here to teach them the process of making important decisions. If you are still the final decision maker, but show your teen the plan and include him in the process. It creates ownership and more motivation in your teen. Number 4, dual enrollment. And yes, I have lots of resources on dual enrollment, so please look in the description below. Because it is a great way to earn a degree while paying for very cheap tuition. And I am talking like 1/3, sometimes even less than that, of normal tuition. So it really is a very, very cheap way to go to college. And you can replace high school classes with college classes, and your teen can earn a degree in high school or shortly thereafter. Dual enrollment also boosts a teen's resume. College degree on a resume is more meaningful than just high school. And also, if your child wants to attend a 4-year university, once a college degree is received, in my experience, the high school transcript isn't requested. Now, because everyone is looking at the college transcript now. However, you should still keep the high school transcript just in case. Number 5, do you need SAT or ACT? You do not need these tests to graduate high school. Also, if you're already attending college through dual enrollment, you won't need them either. In my experience, the only time you need them is if the college requires it. So ask the college to confirm that it is needed. And here's the thing, you need to ask them if they need the ACT or an SAT with just the high school diploma, or if they already have college credits, do they need those tests? Because those are very distinct. Those are very 2 different things. If you are planning to join one of the military academies, you will absolutely need them, regardless of whether or not you have prior college credits. If it's a military academy like West Point or Air Force Academy, you will need your SAT and ACT. You just need to figure out which one. And you'll need it if you want to be eligible for more scholarships. So some scholarships may require test scores as well. So go back to your plan and decide if these tests are necessary. Number 6, life skills and responsibilities for your high schoolers. We need to prepare our kids for responsibility on their own. That includes things like budgeting and living within it, how to buy a car, taxes, laundry, cooking, and time management. These are essential skills for every young adult. So incorporate these skills into their weekly routine. When my oldest kids got their first jobs, before they could spend any money, we created a budget together. I showed them how to update it and keep track of where their money was going. And I know it is easier for us to keep doing everything, and sometimes it is less stressful for us to just do it, especially if it is a new task that takes them outside of their comfort zone. But our job is to nudge them to do these things. And once something is successfully accomplished, it builds confidence in your teen. So create opportunities for your teen to take increasing responsibility over their life and schedule. This prepares them for college, work, or living on their own with confidence. Number 7, be flexible. Your plans will change. As you figure things out and your teen gets a better idea of what he wants to do, you're going to adjust your plans. The most important thing you can do is to remain flexible through these years. Set your graduation requirements, so how many credits are needed, but be flexible on how you get there. Sometimes the best learning moments aren't in your planner, and that's the beauty of homeschooling. Stay open to spontaneity, creativity, and connection. Now let's talk curriculum for high schoolers, because I have some recommendations for you. And I am a huge fan of all-in-one curriculum, especially for high schoolers, because then you know like it's covering all the subjects you need. So my first recommendation is Sunlight. If your teen isn't a fan of textbooks but loves to read, then this is a great program for high school. It is a literature-based program that does all the heavy lifting and planning for you. So this was the perfect program for my oldest son, and when we switched to it in high school, I finally felt like we got the right curriculum. Now, to be honest, if I tried that curriculum with my second son, he would crawl under a rock and cry. Well, you know, but for my oldest, it was perfect because it was very few textbooks, but lots of books to read, and that just suited him fine. Number 2 is Abeka. So my daughter has used Abeka Academy since second grade, and anytime I asked if she wanted to try something new, she always refused. So if you want an open and go curriculum, then this is a really good option. And number 3 is dual enrollment. But I will say this about all of these curriculum options, because that takes me into number 3, is by the time my kids started doing dual enrollment, I really didn't do curriculum anymore. They just did college. Unless there's like some subjects they needed to wrap up. Things like foreign language or personal finance. You know, these kind of some of the classes that they may not be offered in college, I would just have them wrap those up for high school, and then we just switch 100% to college classes. So number 3, dual enrollment. My 3 oldest kids have all done dual enrollment, and it's a great way to get a jump start on college and pay really, really cheap tuition. So let's talk books, because I have lots of book reviews for all ages, and I know sometimes we just need like a book recommendation. So you will find book recommendations for high school students in my book review section on the website, so be sure to check that out, and I'll leave the link in the description below. Homeschooling high schoolers may seem overwhelming at first, but with a bit of planning, you can guide your teen with confidence through these years and on to the next step. Plan your teen's high school in pencil and not in pen. If your teens are unsure of the next steps, then give them the most balanced homeschool plan. For us, that means dual enrollment and an associate's degree in high school. If you don't need to have it all figured out today. You just need to take the next step. So thanks for listening, and be sure to check out lifeunboxed.blog and download your Rebel Mom checklist. Happy homeschooling and working from home, and I will see you next time.